I'm sure we've all seen our favourite guitarists' pedalboard rundowns where they have a neural DSP quad cortex and 30 other pedals, all like totaling about $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 worth of gear, which for many of you like me is just totally unaffordable, especially when starting out. Like, it's just stupid. Why are we even watching it? We can't afford that. So I wanted to show you now my pedalboard that I use for my percussive fingerstyle guitar playing, which is relatively cheap and easy to use. And I'm also going to talk to you about what I previously used before this, which is even cheaper and the total basic everything you need to do percussive fingerstyle guitar playing live without like breaking the bank. This one I use now, the pedals itself, it's probably under £500 you can do it, but the one I used previously, you could do it for under £200. Whilst I talk to you through everything I'm currently using, I'm going to put everything in the description in a list from when I say it to when the video finishes, so you can find everything I'm using. Make it really easy for you to make this yourself if you wanted to. Let's do this. So to start off, let's talk about my guitar. I'm using a Divina. This is handmade for me, and it's my custom signature guitar by Divina. They're a Slovakian handmade like luthier like company, and they're really, really sick. So inside this guitar, I have a Fishman Rare Earth blend, which is a magnetic pickup as well as a microphone combo. So the microphone gets all the percussive guitar playing, so like the tapping, the scratching, hitting the side, like any kind of percussion I do on the guitar, hitting the strings, that will get it all. The magnetic pickup gets just the string sounds, and this is great because it combines well with the piezo pickup, which I have underneath the saddle here, which is a Black Angel Damasio piezo pickup. It's quite an easy one. It sounds great. I'm a big fan of it. So, as well as this, I also have a contact microphone, which is underneath the guitar right here. Ideally though, I should have put it more underneath the strings. This I use to get the bass drum sound when you hit the guitar with the heel of your hand. Let me show you right now. Like this. With this contact microphone, it allows me to like amplify that to sound like a proper bass drum through the PA system, like going through the subs, like doom, doom. It's really cool. I'm a big fan of it. So then these 4 pickups, 1, 2, 3, 4, come out in the bottom of my guitar in 3 output jacks, which comes out in these 3 cables here. So this one, which is a mono cable because you only has 1 ring, gets the contact mic. This one, which is stereo cable, getting the magnetic pickup on one of these rings and the microphone on the other one of these rings. Then this one is the Damasio piezo pickup underneath the saddle, which has 1 ring also because it's mono. We then come over to my pedal board, which is kind of an interesting one because I use a mix between digital, which is this box here, my audio interface, which plugs into my laptop, which I'll show you in a minute, and also pedals, like traditionally on a pedal board. So that big thick cable with all my guitar inputs comes into the pedal board here. The stereo for the magnetic and the microphone separates here. The magnetic goes into this Bose Super Octave pedal. This is an OC3, which is discontinued now, but you can probably find it on eBay. In the description, I'll put an OC5, which is the newest one, which works just the same. What you do with this is you put it on the poly tuning setting, which means if I set this octave level quite low, I can get it to only affect the lower strings of what I play. So like the bass E string kind of, which just adds like a deeper, lower sound to the low notes I play on the guitar, making it sound more wide in the PA system. I also just have the direct level on full here too, so that this then comes out and goes into my audio interface into input number 1. The microphone I then send into this EQ pedal, which I've maxed the volume because it's quite quiet. And inside the EQ, I have all the lower frequencies totally taken out of it, 100, 250. Then I kind of slowly bring it up from 630 onwards to when it's at 0 on 4K upwards, because the microphone only picks up the percussive sounds, like all the percussive sounds on the guitar, which is only like higher frequencies. So you don't want any of that lower frequency in it, because microphones feed back a lot. So taking out all of those frequencies in this, all those lower frequencies, means that my guitar will not feedback at all when I'm performing live, which is great. So there's none of that ringing and like screeching that makes everyone like go like, ugh, you know, it's so helpful. So then this then comes out and goes into my audio interface also. The piezo pickup just goes straight into the audio interface. I don't add any effects onto that one at all. The reason why I'm adding effects onto the magnetic pickup is because it also doesn't feedback when you add effects to it, and it only affects the string sound. So I don't want the super octave to come up on any of the percussion I'm doing. So adding it just on the magnetic pickup means it only affects the strings, which is great. The contact microphone I use goes into this Arctic pickup thing, Arctic pedal here, which is an extremely cheap preamp pedal. I use this mainly just to get the volume a bit louder, but I also use it to put a bit more bass. I take out all the mid and I leave the treble just as is. I use this because it's just quite a quiet pedal, and this allows me to like get the volume up a bit. I can change the phase if I wanted to, make it sound good with the other instruments, and mainly it's just to get the volume up. So then this thing comes out of this and goes into my audio interface also. We then come over to my MacBook, which my audio interface plugs into. So inside this, I EQ, as you can see here, channel EQ. I EQ every single track individually. So we have the magnetic pickup, the undersaddle piezo, the microphone, and the bass drum, which is the contact microphone. I'm using Logic for this just because I know how to use Logic, but you could use absolutely any DAW possible. So I EQ every pickup individually. I add a bit of compressor to some of the channels too, like the undersaddle and the bass drum, because it just brings the sound together, and these pickups, they have such a wide range. It's easier to compress the signal so that it's more smooth and just sounds better through the PA. I also control the levels in this so I can make things louder or quieter if I need to. So the contact microphone, to stop that going at all times, I add a gate so it only comes through when I do the bass drum signal and it spikes, then it sends the signal through to the PA. So otherwise it's just muted at all times so that you can't hear it at all. I do a bit more EQing here, as you can see from this diagram. I add a lot of bass, take out all the mid again, then I leave the treble just as is, just to get that proper like bass drum sound, because that's how you would EQ a bass drum normally. Then I compress this too heavily so that it just sounds consistent always. The reason why I use a computer and a DAW system with this is because I like to play backing tracks sometimes with my music, so I can trigger this with a pedal, which I'll show you in a minute, and that allows me to like control the backing tracks on this. I could also record my music live through the computer too, and it just gives me lots of options. And if I'm going traveling and bringing my computer around with me anyway, I might as well just include it in my pedal board, because I could just, if I want to add a new pedal, I add it into the computer. I don't need to buy a new pedal, add it to my pedal board, like make my pedal board larger and larger and larger. I don't need to do that at all. I just use this and then my pedalboard can stay the same size forever and it never has to get bigger than this, which saves me so much time. So we have this. I have distortion here, which I can trigger and turn on. I have extra bass here, which it's basically just the octave pedal again. I have a shimmer reverb, which I can turn on if I want to. And then I just have some gain on the stereo output, which goes to the PA system. So then this, I can control my laptop without having me to touch it at all with this next pedal. So this pedal right here, I can control my entire system with. It controls my entire laptop. You can get a variety of different like MIDI control pedals. So this one comes out via MIDI from my audio interface. Then that goes into this. And then this controls the audio interface, which controls my computer. So in this, I can like mute all the tracks when I'm tuning up between songs. I can mute all but like certain tracks. If I want, I have this song where I only want to use the magnetic pickup, so I mute everything but the magnetic. I can turn on my distortion. I can turn on the shimmer reverb, and I can press play to play my backing tracks if I need to. I also have the sustain pedal, which I use to fade in effects. So right now I have it set to fade in the distortion. So I turn the distortion on, then I can fade it in, which just makes it a smoother transition during a song. So that's what I use that for. After going into the laptop and getting all the EQs and the other little effects, we come out of my audio interface into my Polytune. So I can tune up my entire guitar with this. This thing comes out of this into my reverb, which adds a reverb to everything all at once. This is a Hall of Fame reverb. This is just nice. I like this. Then this comes out of this into my looper pedal, which is a cheap looper I found, Legato. Like, it's not even a known brand, but it works good. Then this thing comes out of this into the front of house. So my system is mono. I could easily make it stereo if I wanted to. I just have to replace this looper with something that has stereo input output, but I don't have that currently, so it's a mono output. But that in total is my entire pedalboard setup that I'm currently using. It can all fit inside this gig bag, so it's really easy to bring around. It wasn't too expensive. I had this laptop anyway. All of these pedals in total is less than £500, which is pretty good. I'm sure if you looked on eBay, you could probably find cheaper too, which is great. These pickups in the guitar, you're going to want good pickups in the guitar because that's the main part of the sound really. But there is a way you can make this pedalboard even cheaper, which is what I used in the past. You make it just pedals like a normal pedalboard. You remove the laptop, you remove this, you remove this, you remove this. All you really need on a pedalboard is an EQ pedal for each of your input signals. Something which you can use to control the volume, a compressor, like a way to tune your guitar. You could use a tuner pedal or just a clip-on tuner on your guitar. Like a reverb, maybe, but lots of like front of house desks have reverbs anyways. You might not even need that. And that is it really. So what I used to use in the past, ignore how dusty these are. I had this compressor, which was the last thing on my chain, so it just compressed the signal together. I had two of these Arctic pedals. In this system, I didn't use the contact microphone in my guitar at all. Like, you don't really need that. It only adds like sparkles, basically. Like, it's just a cool little effect, but really you don't need it. The only basics you really need is the magnetic microphone and the piezo pickup inside the guitar. That's it. So I had one of these for the magnetic pickup, the little blue EQ thing here for the microphone, and then this other Arctic pickup for the piezo pickup. I then had all of this go into this headphone like preamp, like volume thing. So I went to like a normal guitar store and just got them to change the power supply to something that would fit on the pedal board. It cost me like £5, it was so easy. You can buy this for like 10 quid. You just plug all the inputs in, set the volume for them. Easy, done. And then all of that goes out into the compressor pedal at the end. You could get a reverb if you want to do the reverb yourself, keep it consistent, but you don't need it. You don't really need the super octave. It's nice, but you don't need it. The loop pedal, you don't need. It's just something fun you can do. The polytune, you don't need. You can just plug a clip-on tuner. So if you were just to get like these things, these two, this, compressor, it's probably only like £120. They don't need to be fancy pedals. You've gone fancy in the like guitar pickups. That's all you really need. Anything else, like reverbs, delays, distortion, shimmer reverbs, it's just all extra stuff. It doesn't really change the show really. Like if your playing's great, you don't need them, because people only really care about your playing anyway. They probably won't even notice the like little extra details you add in. So that's it. I hope that helps you in some way. It's really, I know we look at these guitarist videos and they spend about £2,000 or more creating their like crazy setup, and it's stupid and you're like, I'm never going to be able to afford this. So I spent a lot of time thinking on this. I created this. This is my second version right now, just because I wanted more than what I had before. You can really do it for quite cheap. All you need is EQ, maybe a reverb, a way to adjust the volumes, and that's it. That's all you really need. So you can keep it quite cheap with that in mind. The Boss Super Octave though, I do kind of recommend that. That's a great pedal. But apart from that, keep it cheap, keep it easy. No one would really notice in the end of the day. Start cheap, build it more expensive over time. It's the way to do it in my opinion. And I hope that helps you to figure it out for yourself. Thank you for watching. Check out some of my videos if you want to see me play. I posted some live stuff over the last few weeks, so you can have a look at that and see what you think. But thank you.